Hello, all. Welcome to a new Silly Point episode. Today, we're going to talk about the upcoming England versus New Zealand Test series. It's not part of the Test Championship, but it is great. Great practice for New Zealand before the Test Championship against India. We're going to talk about the starting 11s, talk about some of the key players, and talk about our predictions at for the series. As always, I've got Zahid here with me. So Zahid, should we start with New Zealand first?
Yeah, I think New Zealand is an easier one given that they've got a recognized squad.
Yeah,
England is a bit more tricky
yeah,
with quite a few new names.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's start with New Zealand. So, I mean, yeah, the usual openers.
Well, yeah, Tom Latham obviously is
Tom
going to
Latham.
open, and there's a question mark actually around the other opener. They've got,
Mm,
New Zealand have got three options in there. They've got Tom Blundell, they've
yeah,
got Devon Conway, and they've got Rachin Ravindra, who's a 21-year-old youngster.
yeah,
He can also bowl some handy left arm spin. So three options there, but personally, I'd go with Devon Conway. The start he's
yeah,
had to his international career, um, and he also scored some runs in their inter squad game. So I
yeah,
would go with him. Give him a debut, right?
yeah,
Best time to do that. If he performs well, then
exactly.
he can start in the Test Championship as well.
Yeah,
Do you agree with that?
yeah, that's fine. That's pretty straightforward, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will
So
Young, does he open or is he a middle order?
Will Young is a middle order bat.
Okay.
And if so, I know Ross Taylor is injured at the moment. He
Yeah.
might not, he might not be fit for the start. So Will Young can take his place.
Yeah. So Williamson three, obviously.
Yeah, Williamson three obviously, and four would be one of Taylor slash Will Young. If
Yeah.
Taylor's fit, then Taylor will play.
Yeah.
And then five, Henry
Henry
Nichols.
Nichols. Yeah. Straightforward.
Six is going to be BJ Watling.
Yeah.
Sad news that he's decided to retire at the end of
Yeah.
the World Test Championship. He'd probably go down as certainly New Zealand's best
Yeah.
wicket-keeping batsman in Test matches, and probably like the top in the
Yeah.
top five of all-time wicket-keeper batsmen in Test matches. So
Yeah.
yeah, so he'll be batting at six. Number seven is a bit of a question mark.
Colin de Grandhomme
Well,
back
they've
and
got
fit.
yeah, they've got three options, right? They've got Daryl Mitchell, they've got Colin de Grandhomme, and they've got Michelle Santner,
Yeah.
right? Because I feel that numbers 8 to 11 are fixed. They're going to
Yeah.
go with four fast bowlers. Do
Yeah.
you,
So
do you
they might go with
disagree?
Santner then. Yeah, I think no, I think that makes sense. So then they might go with Santner at seven.
Yeah. I think Satner, can easily bat at seven, and he can do a nice holding job with his
Yeah.
left arm. So yeah, Satner at seven, then Jameson at eight, Saudi at nine, Bolt at 10, and Wagner at 11.
9 at 11. Yeah.
I mean that bowling attack
So
is really really good.
yeah.
Um,
It's yeah. You can't really change. I mean, they've got what's his name, Jas Patel as a spinning option, but it's really hard to fit
yeah,
him in.
yeah, very difficult to fit him in, and they've got some decent pace bowling options as well. They've
Yeah.
got Matt Henry and Jacob Duffy.
Yeah.
They've got Doug Bracewell as well, who's done pretty well for New Zealand whenever he's played,
Yeah.
and he's also done well in domestic cricket. So good options there.
Yeah. No, I think it's a very
But that was
strong fixed
that was
squad.
a straightforward selection.
Moving on to the tricky one.
Yes, moving on to
I
the
mean,
tricky one.
England's the batting is pretty new. The bowling still, they've got a few recognized names. The batting, I mean, they've got very inexperienced batting order.
Yeah,
I
true. So
know,
they've got Rory Burns and they've also got Dom Sibley, right? So wouldn't they be the openers?
is Sibley there?
Yeah,
It
Sibley's
seems.
in the squad. Yeah. Both Sibley and Burns are in the squad. They've
Okay,
got a
yeah,
few other opening options
yeah.
in
Hasib Hamid
Hasib
is
Hamid, yes. So Hasib Hamid and potentially James Bracey, but
yeah,
James Bracey will certainly play, but he'd probably bat in the middle order
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. Finally,
unfortunately,
we'll go with
Ben Folks has been injured. So
yeah,
yeah, so I think yeah, Rory Burns and Dom Sibley are
yeah.
probably locked in,
And
followed by
Zach
Zach
Crawley,
Crawley at
yeah,
three. Yeah, that's
and
done.
Joe Root,
Joe Root at four and Dan Lawrence at five.
yeah,
Hold on, Dan Lawrence at five, is it? Or do we have Ollie Pope in the
Ollie
squad as
Pope,
well?
yeah.
Sorry, Ollie Pope at five.
And Dan Lawrence at six, or you have James Bracey at six.
Well, I guess you've got to pick an all-rounder, right?
Yeah, but then who's
Hmm.
going to keep?
I'm trying to think. Actually, they don't have any all-round options, right? So they have to go probably. They have to go with like seven batters. So it's probably going to be Dan Lawrence at six and James Bracey at seven.
Brace is like a top order batsman. Isn't he? He's an opener or number three or an opener, right? But
Yeah, I don't see where he's going to bat.
yeah,
Or England could take a punt and bat Bracey at six,
yeah,
not play Dan Lawrence, and maybe bat someone like Craig Overton at seven,
yeah,
because Craig Overton is he can do a decent job with the bat.
yeah.
I think that's probably a better way
Yeah,
to
so,
go.
yeah. Okay, yeah. So no Dan Lawrence then.
No Dan Lawrence then. Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately. Yeah, so Craig Overton at seven. And then I guess the next four bowlers, three
Yeah.
are pretty confirmed. You're going to have
Broad.
Anderson, Broad.
Will they play them together? They'll
I
not be
yeah,
doing it
I
together.
agree. I mean now they're not going to go down that route of, oh, we'll only pick one. I think they're
Yeah.
going to play them
It's
together.
only two test series, I think. So I think
Yeah, it's only two test matches, so yeah, it's fine. I think both Anderson and Broad will start with Leach as the
each.
spinner.
Yeah.
Um, and then the third bowler is a bit
And
of
if they're
a
playing Craig Overton, then they probably don't need. I mean, they don't need. Do they play Mark Wood or do they play
well,
the
yeah,
spinner?
the few options. You've got Mark Wood and Ollie Stone, who can
Yeah.
bowl really quick. You've also got Ollie Robinson, who a lot of people have said is a fantastic bowler, and he can handle himself
Yeah.
with the bat as well. So I think those are the options. But personally, I'd go with either Wood or Ollie Stone. Get some pace in there, I think.
Yeah. Probably Wood
Yeah,
experience, but yeah.
I'd go with Ollie Stone just to
Yeah.
see what he can do. We know what Wood can do.
Yeah. That's true.
Give Ollie
That's true.
Stone a chance.
That's true. Actually, we can come out as a keeper debate. Sam Billings is also in the squad. He might not. He might be a decent shout at 6 or 7.
He might be a decent shout, but then again, I think James
Mm.
Bracey is a better batsman, at least
Yeah.
in first class cricket. So they probably go with him.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So that's a pretty decent team.
Yeah.
My opinion is that New Zealand is much stronger,
Yeah. I mean,
admittedly.
without Ben Stokes, you just lose the balance of that England team, right? So
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not only about Ben Stokes, right? So you lost Ben Stokes, you've lost Moeen Ali, you've lost Sam Curran,
Josh
you've lost
Butler.
Chris Wokes, you've
Josh
lost Josh
Butler.
Butler.
Yeah.
You've got five potential first 11 players
Yeah.
that are missing, and they're all rounders in their own regard, aren't
Yeah.
they? They all can bat, and some can bat and bowl, some can bat and keep.
Yeah.
So
Key
yeah.
players.
Key players for New Zealand, I'm going to go with Tom Latham. Um, He's a really good opener. No
Yeah.
one, people don't give him credit for being one of the top openers,
Yeah.
recently. So I just think that he's going to be a key player for me. And for England, I'm going to go with Anderson.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
guy is approaching. He's approaching 1,000 first class wickets, and that's
Yeah.
a superb feat, superb achievement. So yeah, I'll go with Anderson.
I'll go with the slightly left field options. I'll go with for New Zealand. I'm going with Kyle Jamieson. I think
Nice. Yeah,
lots been said about him. Especially he's done really well in New Zealand. Obviously, home
yeah,
conditions.
yeah,
I mean, depending on what the weather is like, sometimes the conditions aren't too different in England.
yeah,
But if it's warm like it's been for the last couple of days, then it'll be good to see if it's slightly drier and warm than how he performs in
yeah. Fair.
in slightly tougher conditions for fast bowling. And then for England, I think it's. I mean, Zach Crawley is an interesting one because obviously he's had one really good innings.
Yeah.
He's not really been that consistent, so I think he really needs to show himself and step up and take on that number 3 role. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. Maybe not the key player as such, but it's a key position, especially because how inconsistent England's openers have been as well.
Cool. Sounds good. And I think people already know what our prediction is.
Yeah, 2-0 New Zealand.
I was going to say 1-0 because we can assume that it might rain and one and one
Yeah.
test might get rained out. So I'm going with 1-0 to New Zealand.
Okay, I'm going 2-0 New Zealand.
Very nice. Bold prediction there by
Yeah.
Zahid. So there you have it. That's our preview of the England New Zealand Test series. Let us know if you disagree with our predictions. Some of you might. You might think England are pretty strong, especially when they're playing at home and they might win. So do let us know in the comments. And as always, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.